our best.
Welcome, everybody, to the Superspeedway Kings event here at Talladega. I am your host, Rick Souza, and I'm joined here in the broadcast booth with my co-host, Jeff Neaney, as we bring you the Superspeedway Kings here at Talladega Superspeedway.
Yeah, Rick, these guys, they put on quite the show last week, kept it a very, very safe race and, solid, not a lot of yellow flags, a lot of green flag pit stops. But boy, right at the end, they, when it was time to put up or shut up, they got down to business, and we saw a little bit of carnage there at the end, but yet still a great race.
Well, looking forward to the same type of racing again tonight. These guys are the epitome of those super speedway experts. They're 2 and 3 wide all night long.
Yeah, there are a lot of fun to watch. I mean, you can get guys in this league that can run 3 wide on a super speedway and do it for the majority of the race. And not get into each other. They know how to hold their line. They know how to use the draft. Some of them are exceptional. And then you top it off with the fact that this is an open setup race. And some of these guys really tweak their trucks to be just what they need.
Well, looking forward to again tonight. We are in qualifying now. We've got a number of drivers who have come out and put up times. Right now, we've got Gary Jenkins, who's currently sitting on top of the leaderboard with the 54.98.
Yeah, that is fast. He's the only one that's broken that 55 mark. But Rick McKinney's got a good lap there, just barely over 55. Dale Willoughby right behind him. Cody Niegels, who is a new racer tonight. Jimmy was excited to have him here. So he's going to be racing with us, and he's up in 4th for his qualifying run at this point. And then Al Cena is running 5th.
All right, let's take a look at the racing conditions and racing info for tonight's race. Okay, so this is the Super Speedway Kings at Talladega. They're brought to you by Wow Video Tours, over-the-top graphics, and Fort Worth screen printing. Here at Talladega, the ambient temperature is 65 degrees, no humidity, cloudy, and no wind.
Well, boy, I'll tell you what, I'd rather be in Talladega than at 65 degrees because I'm in Missouri and we are in a cold snap right now. So it'd be much more fun to be there. Looks like it's cloudy conditions, not much wind at all, and no precipitation. We have lots of participation, but looks like it's perfect weather for a good race tonight.
Looks that way, yeah. Track temperature is only 67 degrees. And then for this race, it's 77 laps. They've got 1 qualifying lap, which they're basically wrapping up. They do have 2 quick repairs, and those of you who are unfamiliar with iRacing, that basically means that in the event of an accident or damage, that driver can then come in and get that damage repaired and basically get a new vehicle. And they also have unlimited sets of tires, so depending on how they time their pit stop and how they're going to fuel up, you may see them alternate left and right tires as they come out. Your tires are not quite the critical issue here as they are at other tracks.
And qualifying has ended. It'll be interesting. Last week was the first time I saw a lot of drivers do that alternating, where they'd take right side the first stop and then left and then right and then left. And a lot of guys really used that to their advantage. They were able to get fresh tires, be it one side at a time, but you can change one side of tires while you are waiting to get your fuel filled. So during that fuel filling session, they can change one side, either the left side tires or the right side tires. Gives them time to get that done and do it every other pit stop, and it seems to work out well for these guys.
All right, so we can begin the process of let's breaking down the grid for you. So starting on the pole is Gary Jenkins. He had that 54.986 we saw, and then he's in number 90. On the outside is Rick McKinney in the 029. Behind our pole sitter is Gabe Butler in the 88. Dale Willoughby is in the 70 on the outside. In 5th place, Cody Niegels in the 6. In 6th place, Alcina in the 85. In 7th, Dean Wilkinson in the 55. In the 27, Sean Stevens is in 8th. In 9th, Seth Groover in the 02. And in 10th, James Mayer in the 95.
Picking up right there in spot 11 is Robert Rock in the 171. Next to him, Rick Seabrans in the number 4 position. Rick had a good race last week. 13th spot, James Mohan in the 7, sitting alongside J.D. Crow in the 5. And in the row right behind them, 15, Eric Laurie in the 071 and Mark Mann in the 04. Then we've got David Overstreet in the 46, Randy Miner in the 101, Jimmy Crawford in the 71, and in 20th position, Tom Dixon in the 411.
In 21st is Jimmy Crow Jr. in the 39. 22nd is Mike Rimkus in the 58. The 23rd position is Jerry Batto in the 73. Marco Rubrubi is in the 24th slot in the 68. In 25th is Sebastian Marin in the number 23. In 26th position is Logan Helton in the 63. 27th is Zachary Workman in the 19. 28th, Brian Rainville in the 60. James Peterson is in 29th. Richard Sanchez in the 510 is in 30th. Edward Fielder is in 31st in 111. And Todd Siebels is in 32nd in the 45.
And then I just wanted to see my name up there and see if I could be important. So I pushed the wrong button and joined the race instead of watching the race. So
well, it's all good.
Ignore that one all night long.
All right, so we've got our competitors are currently coming down the backstretch right now as they make their way onto headed towards the start-finish line. The lights are off on the pace car, so we'll go green momentarily. What are you looking for tonight, Jeff? What's your keys tonight?
To me, I think the thing is if they race like they did last week, it's going to be a fun, exciting race. They paced themselves very well. They took their time. They didn't put themselves in any crazy positions and make any bonsai passes. But they just, I think the big thing is to keep it clean and be there at the end.
So, competitors are coming down turn 4, coming on to the front stretch, headed towards the tri-oval. Pace cars dropping off the racing surface. We're about to go green.
That'll be an exciting start here, I think.
Well, Gary Jenkins is our control car. He's got this, entering the Geico restart zone right now. Green flag is out, and we are underway here for the Superspeedway Kings at Talladega. Is this our 5th race of the season, Jeff?
Yes, it is. It's I've got circled 5 on my little notepad here, keeping track of things. It's been a quick season, but it's been a very fun season.
All right, 2 solid lanes are still formed up there. You've got the 90, our pole sitter, that is Gary Jenkins, currently on the low line in the upper groove. You've got the 029, that is Rick McKinney leading that, and the 3rd lane is beginning to form up on the outside. I think that is Seth Groover. I can't tell by the car numbers at this point. Can't see, but looks like he's
the
ducked.
6th car there in 3rd now. That's Cody Niegels. He's the new driver tonight, not new to iRacing by any stretch, but new to this league. Jimmy was excited to have him running, and qualified up front and still up there right now.
Well, we have quickly moved up to 3 lines. We are 3 wide right now through the backstretch here at Talladega. 76 laps to go here.
lap 2, and so far they've everybody's doing their part. They've lined up. They're racing, but they're not doing anything silly. They're not being crazy. They're just trying to keep order and figure out what everybody has, figure out what their car is doing well, not doing well. And that third line is starting to make some progress here.
Yeah, you see that you have noticed that the 90 of Gary Jenkins has moved back. He's kind of fallen back a bit. Maybe just that's just his strategy, trying to stay out of the initial carnage that was going on. But you can see it's a pretty intense drive right now. We can try to jump into, let's take a peek at someone that's back there, maybe J.D. Crow, and see it from his position. There you go.
Yeah, boy, when you see that in-truck camera, it shows you really how little you can see, but it also shows you how much these trucks move around out here on the super speedway. You can kind of get to be chasing your tail if you try to stay directly behind the guy in front of you. He moves one way, and then you got to follow him, and all of a sudden you're playing crack the whip. But I love this view. So it gives people that don't participate in racing but love to watch iRacing, it gives them a chance to see what it's really like and how realistic it is.
Well, it puts you right there in the car with a great perspective of what's happening. You've got 3 lanes wide of trucks at nearly 200 miles an hour, 190 miles an hour, screaming into these corners with very little margin of error.
Yeah, that's for sure. These guys are doing a great job here so far. We've got 4 laps under our belt, coming up here to start lap number 5, and been good, clean race. Nobody's being overly aggressive, but trying to make their way to the front. There's some of these guys there. You can see that truck giving the wow video tour truck right in front of him. Nice little bump to get him moving. Try to get that center line to pass the inside line.
So Cody Niegels has moved out to the front. That's the number 6 car of Cody Niegels.
Yeah, he's done really well working his way up there. He was like in that 3rd position there for a while. Now he's up into the lead. And he's got a good solid run going in front of Gabe Butler there in the 88, getting a good, or the 55, getting a good push from him. Gabe's on the side of him now on the in that center row.
Yeah, he was pushing him, and then he slipped up to the outside. So lots of good competition, lots of good passing. We're seeing early on here. We are at lap 72. We should see our pit window is somewhere about 24 laps, I think our number was. We'll see how that plays out.
It was they stayed green. They really varied it by several laps last week. I think the first ones came in around lap 21, and then there were some coming in, like you said, on lap 24. One of the things that really impresses me is how well these guys change lanes. That's tougher than it looks on a super speedway. You've got to know that you're clear, and they're not talking a lot on the radio, so they're not giving each other cues very often. Every now and then you'll hear it, but for the most part, these guys know what they're doing and know when their truck's clear, when it's not. We were talking with Jimmy beforehand, and he said most guys don't use a separate spotter. They're using something like the Jimmy Johnson spotter pack, things like that. Crew chief, maybe.
So software that's part of iRacing or a component that you could add in for iRacing versus a live person that helps them talk through it. So.
Exactly.
And that's a feature within iRacing. If you do iRace or you're interested in it, you have the option of actually having someone spot for you and be able to be your eyes in the sky and can talk you through it. Or you've got software that can do it for you. So it's all your personal preference. So if you got a buddy that wants to help out, there you go. So
when I first started iRacing a couple years ago, I met a young man from up in Canada, and turns out he was like junior high age, but he just happened to jump in one day and asked me if he could spot for me. So I said sure, and he ended up being a really good spotter. He gave me a couple tips on lines to run, gave me a couple tips on where I could make up time, where I wasn't making up time or losing time. So it's really enjoyable to have somebody that can do that.
Well, and that's the fun part about this iRacing app and this community is that it's 6 to 60. I mean, there's lots of guys who are and older who do this. Some have racing experience. Some just do it for the Walter Mitty effect. They just enjoy the racing and the camaraderie that comes with it. So we are at lap 9 of 70. Oh, we got a major incident. Major accident. It's our first incident of the night. We've got lots of cars involved. We'll go back and see if we can go back to the beginning. I think the James Mohan vehicle was back at the start as these guys are racing back to the start-finish line, and they'll get picked up by the pace car. Let's see if we can figure out just what happened there, Jeff.
Yeah, it started, right there. I can't see the truck numbers on that one.
Let's back that up. I think that's
the 885. I
think the 7 of James. Well, let's just let it play out. We'll try to figure it out as we go.
Yeah, they're 4 wide there, that's not a favorite position to be in Talladega. It looks like that gray truck went up, maybe just tapped or came really close to the wall, came back down again, right? Oh yeah.
Yep. And unfortunately, this is right at the front with the leaders. And we'll let this play out a bit here. You can see it in real time. That was the 02. So that was Seth Groover who was involved in the carnage.
Oh boy, 60 truck gets wrapped up in it right there. Brian Rainville had no place to go.
Yep, the 7, the 510, 411, 02, 68 of Marco Berube.
7
number
of
of
James
guys.
Mohan that you mentioned before. That's who we're following right now.
That's correct.
There's
Yep.
5 truck of JD Crow. Yeah, a lot of guys, and you can tell when they're puffing smoke like that, that means they took some front end damage and their motor is not working well. They're going to have to probably use a quick repair to get back into this.
Well, and we've seen that now we've got a lot of folks. Pretty much the field has come in. They're on pit road, taking the opportunity to top off their fuel. It's only been 10, 11 laps, but these are all short stops for these guys.
I didn't see anybody changing tires there, but from that vantage point, sometimes it's hard to tell.
A couple of guys, I think we've possibly Eric Laurie, James Mayer. Just a handful of guys came in. Obviously, if some of those guys were damaged after that incident, they've come back and they got their truck repaired. So,
yeah.
All right, so we are at lap 11 with the Superspeedway Kings here at Talladega. This league is brought to you by Wow Video Tours, Over the Top Graphics, and Fort Worth Screen Printing.
Looks like Rick Sebrans in that 4 truck got out first. Oh, where's he going?
Not really sure.
But just as we start talking about him, he pulls off and.
Yep. Not sure just what's going on there. We'll stay up with the front of the field and stay with Dean Wilkinson, who's currently in the 55 truck, who's currently showing right now in P1.
Let's see if I can find out what's going on with Rick.
So we'll take this opportunity to thank you for watching the IWM broadcast of the Super Speedway Kings here at Talladega. If you do get a chance, if you're watching on one of our streams, whether that's YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch, please like and follow along with us. We want to grow our community base and keep you informed of other iRacing events that we may be covering. We have not only this league, but on Wednesday nights we do the iRacing Warrior Motorsports league. That league is now sponsored by Tech for Troops, so it's the Tech for Troops Cup Series. That's a fabulous nonprofit organization to be involved with, and that's on every Wednesday night. Also, we are working right now on a broadcast of a 500-mile event. We'll get you more details for the middle of November with this League of Super Speedway Kings. So the more we find out, we'll let you know and keep you up to date on things that we will be bringing to you here on the IWM Broadcast Network.
Well, Rick Debrins went to the back of the field, went to the end of what would be the longest line. There's only a single line at that point, but now he's in the pits and took some tires. Can't tell if he's getting 4 tires and topping off his fuel, and now he's headed back out again.
All right.
Have to work his way up from the back.
We'll have to figure out a little bit later just what happened there with Rick, but right now the lights are off on the pace car, and we are about to go back to green flag racing. Pace car is bringing them down the backstretch. Field is a little bit disorganized yet. We've still got some guys who are coming up out of pit road, and they're racing back to the field to get caught back up. Our first caution of the night. Never know, it could be our last. I think we only ran with our last time. We only had a couple cautions. So
yeah. So let's hope that we get going after this one. We'll put this one under the belt, call it pre-race jitters, and see if we can get a good, strong series of laps in here. 77 laps tonight. We've got 66 to go. Dean Wilkinson's in that top spot. They're trying to get these trucks tightened up as they come around headed for the front stretch to see if we can get green here.
Field is really stretched out. That pace car is coming back off, and we're kind of stretched out.
Yeah, oh yeah. Looks like we have a lot of guys at the end of the longest line. That inside line's very short.
Dean Wilkinson is our control car as he enters the Geico restart zone. And we are back underway. Green flag here at Talladega.
Well, that 88 got a good jump there. Gabe Butler jumped out there, and he won't be able to stay out there running by himself long. He'll have to get those guys that come up, pick him up, and now they're forming up on that outside line, see if they can give the 55 truck of Wilkinson a run for his money here.
So outside line, you've got the we had the 88 of they're just changing fast so we can keep up with them. That's Dale Willoughby in the 70.
Cody Neagles there in that 6 truck was the one that was in the center lane and came down, got in front of that inside lane that had a run, but man, the runs just changed so quickly here.
Cody Neagles is now out front.
Yep.
Followed by the 55 of Dean Wilkinson. The middle lane is the 88 of Gabe Butler. The outside lane is the 23 of Sebastian Marin. Sebastian's got the 63 and the 39 behind him. That 63 is Logan Helton, and that 39 is Jimmy Crow Jr.
Third lane's up top's trying to form. They've only got 3 takers up there right now, and 1 or 2 stragglers in the back, but they're going to need some more help up there if they want that third line to be competitive.
Yeah, with only 3 or 4 cars, they're going to get pretty much run over by these, packs of 10 and 12.
Yeah, these front cars are moving around quite a bit. I don't know if they're trying to side draft or if that's just the air that's making them move that much, but a lot of movement going on in those front couple rows.
Well, part of that's also going to be their, their. This is an open setup, so how you
Yeah,
exit off of turn 2 and exit off of turn 4 is part of how you configured that race truck. So
23, they're jumping up front.
that's Sebastian Marin has moved down
Yeah,
to up front. He's got the 6 behind him of Cody Niegels.
the 63's up there now. Logan Helton. Logan's one we've talked about in the past. Young man, but a great driver. 18 years old, but he's already a pro, running in some of the pretty high-level super speedway races here on iRacing, and he has worked his way up to the front.
Seeing some great examples of pushing. With these trucks, it's a little bit different than other forms of racing. You really don't actually push as so much as you basically push the air right behind the truck that you're in behind as you move forward. So not as blatant as a typical bump, but you've got to be have a little bit more finesse as you get behind that car or truck and move it. So we are seeing some significant swapping back and forth of different lanes from the different grooves. It's amazing that these guys are keeping it together. Their situation, their awareness is quite high.
Yeah, pretty much the inside lane and that center lane are what's really working right now. That outside lane, they're making a feeble attempt to work their way up there, but just not enough participation. And that third lane never seems to do well unless you can get a lot of people up there tucked in together pretty tight, and then you can use that air to your advantage.
Well, we've got 32 competitors. Nearly all of them are currently on the lead lap, and they are in this main groove. We did see some earlier guys that were impacted by that our first caution of the night that may have lost some time, but hopefully they'll be back. If another caution comes out, they can get their lap back.
Sometimes I just get to watching these guys and I get mesmerized and forget I'm supposed to talk. I just love watching the way they handle these super speedways. It's always been a tough type of racing for me to master. I tend to drift a little too much and have trouble keeping the concentration for that long. But these guys just do an exceptional job.
Well, we are currently at lap 18 of 77. We've seen one caution so far of the night. It was brought on by an incident up near the front, which did impact a number of our lead cars. But we are back under green flag conditions here, and these guys are putting on what we have come to see each week with these guys at the Super Speedway Kings. They are just that, kings of the Super Speedway. They draft well, they work well with each other, they're respectful, and the show that they put on week after week is impressive.
You've got that 23 truck of Sebastian Marin running up there. It's interesting. He won last week's race, and he's doing very well in the standings as well. Let's see where he's at. He's running fourth in the standings despite missing the very first race of the season.
I saw a wreck in the back. We are now back under caution.
Oh boy, lap 20. We can only get 10 laps per green flag, I guess.
Go back and look. I think James Peterson may have been involved. Let's go back and take a look at that. Back that up and see what we can see. Oh yeah, there's way more than just.
Oh boy, yeah. Real.
All right, let's see if we can.
I mean that seemed to happen near the front of the field too.
It did. It did. Yep. Let's try to see this from this. This may tell us here. Let's see what we see.
Oh, got
Yep.
a good shot from behind.
It's like the
Got him
27
loose.
got a pretty good bump into the car in front of the 27. Then unfortunately the 27 collected.
Yeah, a couple guys didn't have anywhere to go, but doesn't appear to be too much damage.
No, we'll see some guys definitely come down pit road.
Yep, and with 10 laps, I have a feeling that with a fuel run only being 22 to 24, they'll everybody, a lot of them anyway, will come down and top off.
Well, you are a prognosticator of all of. So we got pretty much the entire field is now in. So. So with that, we've got pretty much the entire field came back down pit road, topped back off with fuel, and they're back on the track.
Like Gabe Butler's first out of the pits. Looked like there's 2 trucks up there that did not go to pit road. I don't know if that's because they weren't eligible or they just elected to stay out.
Well, they may have been a lap down, and then they would be on the next round in.
Yeah, the 90 and the 58 are both 1 lap down.
Well, and that's the thing about a track of this size. You know, it takes a long time under not race conditions to get around this track.
Yeah, yeah. So since those 2 trucks are a lap down, the 90 of Gary Jenkins and the 58 of Mike Rimkus, they've got an option now. They can pull in a pit, or they can stay up there and get the wave around if they don't pit, and they'll be back on the lead lap at that point. Let's see what happens.
Well, the lights are still on the pace car. We've still got a little bit of time before they'll get the wave around. Probably with 1 to go, they'll get that option. Or as you said, Jeff, they may be being fairly conservative and just head down and top off fuel, because you just never know when you're going to wind up in green flag conditions.
Yep. Yeah, the 60 of Brian Rainville is still in the pits. He's been in there for an extended period of time. Well, I'd say they're going to stick around and go for the wave around. What would you think?
It looks that way. It's kind of like real estate, right? Instead of location, 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 it's position, position, position.
When you get a chance to get your lap back free of charge, then I think in a lot of cases you better take it. You never know when you're going to get that chance again. This could all of a sudden go 30 laps under green, and they'd have a tough time.
So a number of guys are in the pits right now. They've elected to come back in and top back off. That happens a lot here on super speedway events.
Yeah, when you're in the back, you've got a lot of options. You can continue, stay out there on the track, but if you think you can get an advantage by getting an extra lap's worth of fuel by dropping in there and topping off, then some people choose to do that. You never know how that plays out till you get closer to the end of the race, though.
That's very true. So we've got 26 cars or so currently on the lead lap. Lap 22 of a scheduled 77. Currently, Gabe Butler in the 88 is our control car. He is leading us back to the start-finish line as we go back to green soon.
That is a pretty truck, too. I like the paint on that. That Guinness 88 truck looks really sharp. It's easy to see. Sometimes it's a little hard to read the numbers when they're moving, but man, it's a pretty truck.
Well, the lights are off on the pace car. We are expected to go back to green next time by. So top 10, let's kind of go through our top 10 right now. We've got Gabe Butler currently on the in the lead, you've got Dale Willoughby, James Mohan, Logan Helton, Cody Niegels, Rick McKinney, J.D. Crowe, Sebastian Marin, Jimmy Crowe Jr., and Tom Dixon. Top 10. The pace car is off the racing surface.
Gabe Butler is the control car. Will lead us to green here as they come around into the tri-oval.
Entering the Geico restart zone. And we are underway. Lap 22.
Well, you see that 70 car of James Mohan coming right up and giving Gabe Butler a good push there without hitting him hard. But man, he's right up there on his bumper, and it gives them the chance to get a big jump on the 70 and 63.
You've got two lines here. Looks like the third one is trying to start, but has not happened on the outside. You've got the 70 of Dale Willoughby. He's got the 63 of Logan Helton behind him, helping to move him towards the front, as well as the 029, I believe, of Rick McKinney as well on that outside. On the low line, you've got the 88 of Gabe Butler, followed by the 7 of James Mohan. And
Cody
the 6
Nagels,
car.
first time running with this group, and that 6 truck is holding his own. He's in 5th position right at the moment, tucked in tight to the front 2 guys in that inside line. They're going past the 70 of Dale Willoughby right now. And whoa, 7 jumps up in front of Dale, tries to get a push from him, see if they can get out to the front. And they're holding their own so far.
That's the amazing part about watching these guys go. The dancing that occurs in these lines is just impressive. They know where their truck is. They know how to get up and down out of these different lines, and for the most part avoid contact.
Yeah, their ability to change lanes in this league really impresses me. I enjoy watching them because they are very self-aware of where their truck is and how much clearance they have, and if it's a safe move or a aggressive move. And to be able to do that, you just saw a car there in about 6 or 7 rows deep that made an abrupt change from the center line down to that inside line, and threaded his way right in there, no problem. Nobody had to check up or get out of his way. They do a great job of being able to change lines when they need to. Being able to see, a lot of people used to talk about Dale Earnhardt Sr. could see the air, and I don't know if you can actually see it, but these guys know how it works, and they know when a line's coming and has a run, and they can work their way over in front of that line and try to stay in front of the run.
Maybe just saw that the 85 of Al Cena just made an abrupt lane change farther on back in the field as he was going from that high line. He dropped back down to the lower line. That third groove has opened up. That's the 029 on the outside there. That's Rick McKinney. The 6 car just dropped down on the apron. That's Cody Nagels. It may have been a little bit too, what a drama right there. He may have decided to drop off. Just kind of discretion's the better part of valor, I think, with a lot of these guys.
Yep, he's back up on the track now, and I hope he can stay with the draft. He seemed to lose quite a bit of speed there going into the tri-oval, and I think that draft is going to get away from him now.
We'll keep an eye on him in a little bit as we watch these 3 lines here forming up solidly side by side. There's a lot of movement up front here, more movement than we typically see. That may have been why the 6 of Cody dropped back a bit. You know, the race is 77 laps long. You're not going to win it on lap 27, so you know sometimes it's better to just take a break and find a spot that you're comfortable in getting around in. This is it certainly is a nail biting.
Yeah, that's for sure. The seems to be we have a lot of these same guys at the front every week, and I think that's kind of normal. You see it in
That's
real
Gabe
life Cup
Butler.
series.
We're on board with Gabe Butler, and he just dropped off the racing surface and is falling back. He may be doing that for a reason, maybe to pick up somebody. I'm not sure. Maybe he saw the same thing as Cody did, but he dropped back to 18th.
Yeah, he's back up on the track and staying in the draft. So that's a good thing for him to not lose the draft. So we'll see what happens. See if Cody can work his way back up there again.
Just drop back to take a peek at where Cody is. He's unfortunately has a single car right now. That's going to be a tough position to be in. As we saw in qualifying, these guys were doing times of 54.9, 55.07, and that's great as a single car. But currently, our lead drivers that currently in that lead pack, they're doing laps of 51.03, 51.4. That is going to put you at a significant disadvantage as those times begin to accumulate, and eventually that lead pack is going to catch you.
Yeah, that 4 seconds a lap will, 10 laps, all of a sudden they're back on you again. So it's he can't afford to run back there very often, but yet at the same time, he doesn't have much choice. Once you're back there, there's not a whole lot you can do except wait for everybody to catch you.
Or hope for a caution, which you just never know. There is a lot more movement. There's a lot of dancing going on here between those three grooves here. So we don't like to see cautions, but unfortunately it's sometimes inevitable with this type of close racing.
Well, we had a caution on lap 10. We had one on lap 20. And we're just about to conclude lap 30. So this will be the longest green run of the day so far. Just a few more feet to go. A 63 truck out front. And let's hope they broke the 10-lap curse. And now we're going to get moving with Logan Helton leading the way.
Logan just dropped down to the low groove and dropped in front of the 70 car of Dale Willoughby. That inner groove has got the 411 of Tom Dixon being pushed by the 85 of Al Cena. Of course, you just saw that all change in the 2 seconds it took me to tell you that. That has completely been rejumbled back up. Now the 23 of Sebastian Mayer on the outside line.
Somebody else jumping off.
I think
Looks
he
like
may have
they're
gone
getting ready to pit, though.
Yeah, they may have come down pit road.
I didn't see which truck it was, but it's the right timing for one of those guys that took the wave around.
Yeah, that was Mike. That was Mike Rimkus in the 50. That may have been Mike Rimkus. I'm not sure who that was.
They would have been right on the money for fuel window, though. Those guys that took the wave around, they had 10 laps already used the fuel, so they had about 12 laps to go, and that was lap 12 since the last yellow.
There's a little bit of movement, a little bit farther back in that field. Keeping an eye on that 128 car, the truck, that's James Peterson. He was changing lanes there, trying to get a feel for what works best for him and his driving style. That's part of it as well. There's an art to running in that middle and outside line. There's a security if you're on that low line of that yellow stripe there. It's in your peripheral vision. You got a good idea as to where you should be, that point of reference on the track. In the middle groove, you've got the doors of the trucks on either side of you as to where you go. Yes, you've got that dash line there in the lane painted on the track, but that doesn't always apply. And then on the outside line, well, it's you and the safer barrier. So
yeah, I hate being in that third lane or fourth sometimes, but being up there trapped between somebody else and the wall, you just feel like you have no room to maneuver. Where if you're on the inside line and you have to take some evasive action, then you've at least got a little bit more room to maneuver, got a little safety net there.
We just saw Gary Jenkins in the 90. He came down pit road for a little bit of service. But our lead guys, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, the 23 of Sebastian Marin is out there on the outside line. He's got the 68 of Marco Berube. That's Gabe Butler behind him as well. I'm not sure.
Somebody
I can't read the number.
Making a dive down to the apron.
So interesting. You do have Brian Rainville and Marco Berube who are on that outside line. Both of those are a lap down. Both those drivers are one lap down, but they're out there helping the 23 of Sebastian Marin. Obviously, they're there to hopefully get their lap back in the event of something going wrong. The 02 is leading that center lane. That 02 is Seth Groover. He is a lap down. He's got the 85 of Alcina behind him. So right now we've got a mix of guys who are a lap down who are currently right there at the front, all of them hunting to get their laps back.
Yeah, I think those two cars in the outside row, 68, and I think it was the 60 or the 50.
Correct.
Those were the guys that took the wave around. And so they were not whoever pitted just a little bit ago. And I thought I sounded so intelligent there, but they proved me wrong. They're still hanging out there.
Well, we're on lap 36. We saw some movement in that lane. I think they're coming up to some lap traffic.
And that lap traffic wisely gets down to the apron, gets out of the way. They don't want any part of that.
That's Gary Jenkins in the 90. The 63 just dropped off the racing service and came, I don't know how he did it. He came back on the track up where that racing surface meets that apron, and he survived.
That was some mighty good driving there.
Well,
and that last
Helton
shot that we saw where that car that was ready to be lapped got out of the way of the leaders coming through, you could really see the speed differential in that shot. You saw how fast these cars passed up that solo car. And it's not because that solo car is by nature a lot slower vehicle. It's because of the cars running in the pack are just that much faster than a car running by himself.
All right, so we last pitted on lap 20 for most of these drivers. We should begin to see them at least thinking about pit stops in the next 2 to 3 laps. And part of that planning is they'll move down to the lower grooves, especially if it's going to be green flag conditions. Right. The
seems to be settled down now. They're got their two lines formed up. They're running good and solid, and trying to get to their green flag. This is where it's going to get interesting, because to make a green flag pit stop, they've got to get down to that inside line.
Yeah, and you got a lot of
outside.
You got a lot of guys who are a lap down who are currently running at the front. In fact, that 02 right there of Seth Groover is right now currently a lapped car. 23 of Sebastian Marin on the outside line is the leader, and he's got the 68 pushing him. He's a lap down.
lap 39. So yeah, in the next probably
Yeah.
I'm going to say lap 41.
Well, Jeff, just to interrupt, we just saw the 6th car of Cody Neagles just get lapped.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Well, if he can catch up with the pack now and stay with them, that's it. Looks like he's caught the he's gotten in there in the middle of the.
He
the
may have
train.
the
Center
lucky
row.
dog.
Yeah.
If he can stay out of trouble, if this green flag does come out.
He's got those other lap cars up in front of him. So it'd be interesting to see. There's a lot of different ways this could shake out now, but he's down in the bottom of that inside line, running towards the back of that group.
So we're on lap 40, about to be lap 41 here at Talladega. This is the Super Speedway Kings. They run every Tuesday night, and if you've got a hankering for some Speedway plate racing, both here at Talladega and we'll go back to Daytona, this is the league for you to watch. These guys run fast, they run clean, they run 2 and 3 wide, and you can learn a lot by watching them, their strategy. You can see how they manage their pit stops. It's just it's a fun league to watch. So we're thankful that you're able to watch here with us live, or if you're going to watch later on a recording, we appreciate you following the IWM Broadcast Network.
It's going to get real interesting. Here we go. A lot of cars breaking down. You saw how many were on that inside line, and a lot of guys breaking to try to get into the pits. Coming in there in a big cluster.
Well, that's one of the challenges here at these super speedways. You're 190 miles an hour down to 55. We'll keep our eye on a couple of these guys as we watch through here. We'll see what they do. May not be able to see them from our current camera angles.
Yeah, my view, I can see a few of them. A few of the guys were taking tires, but I don't think anybody took 4. Didn't look like it from where I was sitting anyway, and coming back out onto the track in a big group.
Well, here's the rest of them coming down.
Coming in.
Oh, man.
Oh.
That was the 63 of Logan Helton. He will probably need to get a change of tires there.
Yeah.
So you're seeing the right side tires go on the 23 of Sebastian Mayer. The 63 just got fuel.
Fuel only. That's surprising when he locked him up like that. But he didn't have him locked up long, so maybe he's okay. We've got 510 running in the lead right now, Richard Sanchez, but I think he's going to have to pit. Yep, here he comes.
Here they come. The next round of takers. Yep, this will be Richard Sanchez, J.D. Crowe, Robert Rock, Gabe Butler, Eric Laurie, Todd Siebels, and Dean Wilkinson, who will all be coming down onto pit lane.
Yeah, 510's not taking any tires at all, just getting fuel. There's that Guinness truck, the 88 of Gabe Butler. We lost him in the view. Not sure what he's doing.
We'll pick them up when they come back out. Looks like they are getting a full tank of fuel. And with the amount of time it takes to refuel these trucks, there's time to put one side of tires on. So, wow, this is tight. You're seeing all of these guys come out. And they're about to get run over.
This is always a trick, trying to blend back in when they're coming around it. Wow. Yeah, those guys, look at that. Move up to the center line to allow some of those guys to get back up on the track. Some good driving there, some respectful driving, I guess I would call it. I like to see that.
So you're watching we're on lap 44 of 77. Logan Helton is showing us the way, followed by Sebastian Marin, Dale Willoughby, in the 70 is in third. Mark Mann in the 04 is currently showing in fourth. Richard Sanchez, Zachary Workman, David Overstreet, Gabe Butler, Al Cena, and Tom Dixon are your top 10.
It's interesting when you look at the standings for the season. You've got Zachary Workman in the lead, and but Sebastian Marin is running fourth place in the standings, and he's the only driver in the top 10 to only run 3 races. So this is his fourth race while it's everybody else's fifth, but he's still in fourth position despite having one less race under his belt than everyone else. So you know from that he's had 3 good finishes, and it looks like he's on his way to another good finish in this race as well.
So if you watch that, that's the 029 of Rick McKinney. That he is a lap or so down. He's currently just moved his way to the back of this pack. And now we're back to side-by-side racing here at Talladega.
Yep, the 18-year-old Logan Helton leading the way right at the moment, but that seems to change about every few seconds sometimes. This center line coming up the middle is getting a bit of a run right now.
Yeah, we're doing our best to keep you informed as to who's what, but they change faster than we can get the words out sometimes.
That is the truth. It's a challenge with these.
So they are coming up on I'm guessing it's a lapped car or a soon-to-be lapped car. That car has now moved down to the apron. And we are 3 wide again here at Talladega. That's the 04 of Mark Mann, currently leading that center groove.
Got the third line trying to shape up, but only 3 trucks in that outside line right now, led by that 6th truck.
That's Cody Nagels. He's a lap down, but he's doing his best to stay relevant here with this field and hopefully get his lap back. We are past the halfway point here with lap 40. Oh, a little bit of contact.
Ooh, yeah.
With 30 laps to go.
Yeah, if you remember, Cody Nagels was the one that several laps ago all of a sudden just pulled out of line, got down on the apron and slowed down, and then was running all by himself for several laps and finally ended up going a lap down as the field came by him. And then he was able to catch up. Now that he's up there at the front, let's take a look here. I'm going to guess, yes, he's the first car a lap down. So if there's a caution now, he's going to be eligible for the lucky dog.
So we're back to 3 wide again here at Talladega. Again, this is a Superspeedway Kings, sponsored by Wow Video Tours, Over the Top Graphics, and Fort Worth Screen Printing. We are being shown the way by some incredible side-by-side and 3 wide racing here with these drivers. The 63 of Logan Helton is running that low groove, and he is battling the 23 of Sebastian Marin, who's got an incredible push by the 04 of Mark Mann behind him. And just as I say that, they both drop down to the low groove. And the 63 may have moved to the middle groove.
There goes the 60 car, or the 04 car, up into that middle groove, got in front of that push of the 63, and look how much ground they gain in such a short amount of time. Now they're both drop back down to that lower line and advance themselves quite a bit. I thought it was interesting also that third line hasn't been doing much, but about a lap ago, there were 3 cars in that line at that time, and all of a sudden they got a run and went past everybody, but as soon as they got past, that run stalled out and they start going backwards again. Sometimes it's so hard to predict where that run is
wrecking.
23 into
70, lots of big wreck. Big one here at Talladega at lap 50.
Well, Cody Nagels is going to benefit from that one, as long as he wasn't in it. But that was another mishap that happened up near the front of the pack, wasn't it?
I see Cody Nagels there. He may be okay. There was a lot of drivers in that. We can go back a bit, see we can figure out just. Yep,
Wow.
let's back that up.
Never want to see the bottom of that car like that 83 right there.
I could be wrong, but I think the 23 of Sebastian. Well, let's just follow it through. Let's just see what happens.
I can't tell if there's contact there. Looks like there might be. Yep. That 70 truck gets into the 23, puts him up into the wall, and then everybody behind them is just scrambling for real estate.
That's unfortunate. So let's go back a little bit farther, view back, and unfortunately, this is when the carnage ensues. 70 comes back, the 411, the 85, 029, 128. Just a lot
88's in the middle of that too. Yeah.
A lot of wreckage, So, a lot of guys are now coming down on back to live. So here we are at lap 51. We've got a lot of drivers coming down. Now here's where the strategy begins to play out, because you've got just over 26 laps. By the time we go back to green flag, you got 25. I don't know if you can make it, but that seems to be really at the outside.
That's right at the edge.
It is.
If you can save fuel, and especially if they had one caution, you could do it. But man, that's right at the edge of the fuel window. Just heard on the radio the 70 of Dale Willoughby took blame for that last crash. We saw him get into the back there of I think it was the 23 car, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. Well, a little racing incident. So.
Oh yeah, they're going for the same piece of real estate, and sometimes you don't know. You think you've got clearance and you don't, and or he could have let off a little bit and thought he was clear. It just sometimes it happens. You hate to see it, but 23 car looks like he got fixed up and he's back out there again.
I'm not sure he had much damage at all. May have been some right side damage, but I'm guessing.
Yeah, he had some damage on his right rear, but that last shot I saw of him looked like he was had that all cleaned up. So he may have used a fast repair here with 26 laps to go.
So I'm currently showing Cody Nagels is back on the lead lap. We'll see how that scoring tower pylon gives us the information that we need to confirm that.
Yeah, I'm looking at that 23 truck right now, and he must have used a quick repair, because he's right back out there, and that right rear of that truck looks spotless right now.
Right. Well, 26 laps to go. This is that that challenging part where it's can you make it? Can you conserve enough fuel? You certainly can't conserve enough fuel if you're out there leading, because you're gonna burn more fuel. That's why you're gonna see that truck. That is the 88 of Gabe Butler, and also the 171 of Robert Rock, David Overstreet, Dean Wilkinson, Eric Fielder, Eric Laurie, Jerry Batto, Jimmy Crow. They're all on pit road. Why? They're topping off.
That's an interesting strategy too, because Gabe was pitting from the front. I mean, he was up in the probably top 5, top 10 for sure.
But if they think they can make it now, and not have to come back in with 25 laps to go, then to be in the back, that's okay.
Yep. He's a good enough driver. He can work his way back to the front. He still has 25 laps to do it, which is plenty of time. So this will be this is fun at the end of the race because this is where all of a sudden guys start to get on different strategies. Somebody will take fuel, somebody won't, and somebody's going to try to save fuel. Somebody wants to run up front. If you run up, like you just said though, Rick, if you run up front now, you're going to have a hard time saving any fuel at all.
Well, the lights are off on the pace car. We're about to get back under green flag conditions. We'll be crossing that stripe at lap 24. All these guys have gotten at least fuel. Some took tires, but for the most part, it was a fuel-only stop. And now the gamesmanship.
I think one of the interesting things in the way we do these iRacing races is most of these guys, if not all of them, are running without a spotter and without a crew chief. They're making all these strategy decisions themselves, where in real life racing, you've got a crew chief on the box that's calling the race for you, telling you when to pit, not pit, that sort of thing. You've got somebody up in the rooftop that's spotting for you. So it makes a big difference.
All right, we are about to go back to green flag racing. Lights are pace cars off the track, and we're entering the Geico restart zone. We are underway. Green flag here at Talladega.
Like the 510 of Sanchez got a little bit of a jump there. Richard Sanchez out to an early lead, but now the 04 has got the momentum with the 23 pushing him, and that puts Mark Mann back out into the lead with Sebastian Marin right behind him, and then the 7 of James Mohan pushing him along as well.
Some of these are new names that we haven't called out front in our previous races, so it's good to see these guys who are now currently out front. That's the 510 of Richard Sanchez. Also Mark Mann in the 04.
This is shaping up to be really interesting. You got a lot of different strategies out there, and to see how that's going to shake out with 23 laps to go, I always find fascinating. I love to see the way these guys can not only drive well, but think while they're doing it, and be, it's almost like a chess match. You're trying to think, 2 or 3 stops ahead, and make sure you get to where you need to be at the right time.
Well, we saw that with that last pit stop. You got guys who came in on lap 51 as a large group, but then you saw a bunch of guys ducking back in, which was the next lap 52, to top off their fuel tank and hopefully be able to make it on that last stop. We'll see if that strategy works.
Yeah, see the 128 there of James Peterson all of a sudden coming down pit road. Not sure what happened there.
Yeah, he had some. I think he may have run out of quick repairs. He had a lot of damage.
Yeah. Okay.
Previous incident.
Yeah, I can just see the back of his car looks pretty good on the back. He's getting all 4 tires. Yeah, he's got a lot of front end damage. You're right. That could be it.
Well, and front end damage here at a super speedway is a curse because
Yes.
you can't get enough air into the engine compartment, and what that tends to do is lead you to overheat, and you're not going to be able to make the race speed to keep up with the pack. So looks like that low groove has jumped out to a pretty good lead. Of course, it's like a slinky. It'll come back up and get you, but that's the 23 of Sebastian Marin, the 510 of Richard Sanchez, the 04 of Mark Mann, and center groove has got, just as I said that, the 63 of Logan Helton is right there nipping at the side panel of the 23.
Yeah, that SNG graphics truck of Logan Helton not only looks good, but man, he's on the wheel on that. Now all of a sudden he's down, coming to pit road. 21 laps to go. That's just within the fuel window, and looks like he's going to come down, get a full tank of fuel, and try to get back up there and get to the front again. This is going to give, though, Gabe Butler, who topped off early, it's going to give him a chance to be out in the front now. And if he feels like he can make it on fuel, it'll be close for him. But it's going to be interesting to see how this pays off.
Well, the other gamble was, I mean, you could probably, it would have been close with that previous fuel stop on lap 51 or 52. However, if there's a caution flag, if there's a green-white checker, you are stuck. So, wise call on these guys.
Yep.
Come in early. You've now got the 04 of Mark Mann and the 7 of James Mohan also in, as well as Seth Groover are now. And again, these guys come in as a team, well, as a group, and they're back out on the track together, keeping up with race pace.
Well, I just saw something there that just really kind of surprised me. The 73 truck of Jerry Batto. I hope I'm saying that name right, Jerry. He just all of a sudden came flying up through there in that second groove. Nobody pushing him, nobody in front of him, but boy, he had a run all by himself, and you just don't see that often. Now he's up there, and he's up behind that Miller Lite truck.
Now we've got another
group.
Another group of guys, and that is the Richard Sanchez, J.D. Crow, Gabe Butler, Jimmy Crow, and Eric Laurie, who are now coming in.
Yeah, we see Gabe Butler didn't. He worked his way back towards the front. He was up in about 8th spot there when he came in, but he decided that wisdom demanded that he get us a little bit of fuel here. Looks like he took on and filled it up, and 18 laps to go. He's got plenty of gas to get to the end.
So our initial speculation, Jeff, was probably wrong. These guys they're the masters of their vehicles and their pit strategy, and they felt like we were saying that was on the ragged edge. They don't want to operate there, and they came back in and topped off for fuel. So pretty much everybody has come in. We've got some more takers now. Todd Siebels and Tom Dixon are in right now. We expect to see Jimmy Crawford, Jerry Batto, and Eric Fielder come in. They last were in on lap 52. Those are the guys that we thought may try to stretch it out, but we'll see.
Yep, that was that 73 truck of Jerry Batto. That was the one that I was talking about earlier that had all of a sudden had that single car run just really going, and now he finds himself in the lead. Well, no, that's sorry, that's my iRacing screen not keeping up with all the changes. It only updates once a lap.
So you do have a number of lap cards. That's the 27 of Sean Stevens showing out there in front of that low line, as well as Marco Berube. Marco's in the 68 truck we see on right there, but they're also a lap down. On the outside, Gary Jenkins in the 90, also a lap down. The only car that's out there that is on the lead lap, I believe, was the 029 of Rich McKinney. Rich was on the tail end of the lead lap, and he last pitted on lap 51. So we expect to see these guys, at least Rick McKinney, come down soon. Oh, the 68 just turned.
There we go.
That's unfortunate. We'll go back.
Got engine damage.
Yep. Let's go back. I think.
27. Looks like he had a little bit of help there. Probably got hooked on the right corner.
Yeah, let's go back and look at it from the far chase from the 68 car. See, grab a roof cam on the 68 car.
Yeah, just a little too much contact there and just hooked him right into that outside wall.
And unfortunately, the carnage then ensues. We'll take you through it. We'll give you that shot in real time. Here you go.
Yeah, the 029 of Rick McKinney just gets blindsided there.
Yep. All right. A lot of damage. A lot of damage race cars. All right, folks.
Yeah, you hate to see that.
We're at lap 50, with 15 laps to go here at Talladega. We just had another incident. Kind of unfortunate timing because we just had some guys on pit road. So my guess is that this leaderboard is going to get completely jumbled up. We'll just try to see how it plays out.
Now all of a sudden we have a lot of guys a lap or 2 laps down. 20 cars on the lead lap according to my stats right now. But boy, that 71 looked like he was coming in there hot, didn't it?
It did, yeah, absolutely. So we'll keep an eye on what's going on out here as this field begins to reform. This is probably a pretty good break for those guys that came in around lap 58. All right, this is our 4th caution of the evening. We've got 14 laps to go. Thank you for joining us here with the Super Speedway Kings here at Talladega. I'm your in the booth here is Rick Souza and Jeff Needy. We're with the IWM Broadcast Network, and we're so thankful you could join us. And if you get an opportunity to like or follow, we ask that you do so you can stay up to date as to what's happening with the IWM Broadcast Network and stay up to speed on different leagues that we cover and special events that may be out there in the future.
Well, as the pace car leads these guys around, we've got some regular names back up at the front again. We got the 23 of Sebastian Marin, Mark Mann, Logan Helton, James Mayer, James Mohan, Zachary Workman, Rick Seabrans, and Dave Overstreet, and then Gabe Butler and Richard Sanchez rounding out that top 10. But boy, there are some good truck that are just a little bit further back that I think it's still anybody's race at this point. I mean, we still have 14 to go, and a lot of guys still in this. It's way too early to pick a winner right now, but it's going to be interesting. I'll tell you that. It's the fuel strategy part is over now. I think everybody's got enough fuel now, obviously, to make it to the end, and now it's going to be who can ride the wave, who can see those runs coming, can get out in front of those runs, can change lanes when they need to and stay still when they need to, and make their way to the front just in time for that checkered flag to fall.
Well, and as we've seen it before, we've got part of what your success is here is all of that and staying out of trouble.
Oh, that's the truth, and that's tough to do on a super speedway.
So we just saw a truck get the wave around. They'll be able to join up and get their lap back. But the lights are off on the pace car, and we're about to get back underway here at Talladega. They'll be at 12 laps to go when they take that green flag to restart what could be the final session of tonight's event.
Some of the names that we see up here in the top 10 are some of the same names that we see in the season standing top 10. Names like Zachary Workman, Gabe Butler, see who else, Sebastian Marin, Rick Seabrans. Some of these guys are consistently up at the front and battling each other and doing it really with such, I think, skillful driving and great attitudes all at the same time. They share their setups with people that may need a little bit of help. They work together very well. They're courteous on the radio and on the track. They just it's a great example, I think, of how it was meant to be in this iRacing world we live in.
All right, so we are about to go back to green flag racing. Pace car is about to drop off the racing surface. We'll have 12 laps to go in this shootout, barring any green-white checker. I'm not a betting man when it comes to that. These guys will, when it's all bets are off in those last 3 laps. So, all right, pace car is off the racing surface. Sebastian Marin is our control car, about to enter the Geico restart zone. With the 63 of Logan Helton behind him, the 04 on the outside of Mark Mann's got the 95 of James Marin. Green flag. We are back underway here at Talladega.
Hear the sound of those engines spooling up, the guys shifting gears to get things moving. Usually they start in second gear, then work their way up third and fourth. And they've developing that full head of steam right now, but it takes them about a full lap to get up to speed. Heading down the backstretch here with that 23 of Sebastian Marin in the lead. But boy, that second line is organizing now. And the front or the inside line has a big gap.
We can ride along.
Interesting to see.
We can ride along here with James Mohan. Saw that run he just had. Once the 63 moved out, he moved right on the bumper of Sebastian.
Yeah, and that 63 of Logan Helton got enough of a push from the 04 to get out in front, but it wasn't enough for him to clear himself and drop back down. And now you can see him dropping back a little bit. Seems like that center line gets a push on the straightaways. They develop a run, and then they get into the turns, and that inside line has the advantage on the turns.
I'm not quite sure that James Mohan has his setup may not allow him to push as well, or just may have been the run he's got with the truck behind him. We'll go back out to a different camera, follow along.
Yeah, Logan Helton was able to get out in front enough to drop down in front of the 23 of Sebastian Marin. And now those two trucks and the 7 of James Mohan are doing a good job at staying tucked up together and staying out front.
And don't look now that that 4 of Rick Sebrans has worked his way up, and he's now right in line on that low line.
Got some guys out there in the third line trying to make that work.
That's the 510 of Richard Sanchez. He's got the, not sure what he's got behind him, who's behind him, but a lot of movement here with these guys in that middle groove. That's the 04 of Mark Mann and the 95 of James Mayer behind him. That's the 5 on that outside line. That's J.D. Crow in that third lane.
Yeah, that third lane I'm not a big fan of it. It's working at times, but just not often enough to be reliable. It's the 510 there's got a great run right now. Richard Sanchez making his way out, maybe even into the lead. Yeah, he's in the lead there for a bit.
We've got the 45 behind the 5 car, as well as the 39, and there's a 5th car in that top groove. That's what you need to make that top groove work. But don't look now, this pack is about to come up to some lap traffic, and that could affect what happens.
Yeah, let's see if this lap traffic makes their way down to the apron to let these guys pass cleanly. But at this point, everything's still good. They're all nobody's darting and jumping and jiving. They're moving around, but 95's trying to get up there on the bumper of the 04. get him a push up in that center lane. Yeah, that lap car moved down to the inside now. Good sportsmanlike driving to stay out of the way and not affect the outcome of the race. And then he can tuck in at the back and hopefully stay with the draft and stay with that pack.
The 23 has moved up, and you saw the 7 move right up to the bumper of Helton. 23 has moved up to take over the lead, running ahead of that 04 car, sorry. That's the 04 of Mark Mann. So this is what we've come to expect here on our Tuesday night race with the Superspeedway Kings. Side-by-side racing right down to the finish. 7 laps to go. And it's anybody's race.
I think the 95 got a little bump there and started getting a little wiggly, but gathered it together. Got another lap truck.
And that's the 029 of Rich McKinney. Good sportsmanship, just trying to drop down.
That outside lane's got another run coming here.
It does. There's a lot of movement.
Wow.
Yep. You can see sometimes a flutter of a little bit of exhaust burning. You can see the flames come out of the exhaust. That's because the driver has had to let off of the gas to avoid running over the guy in front of them. Again, this is a track where aerodynamics are a factor, and it will, sometimes you're not going around at full throttle because you're feathering it to stay up at that bumper of that guy in front of you.
Yep. It still amazes me how that third lane can just falter a lot and not get anywhere, and then all of a sudden they get this bonsai run and make their way up to the lead, and then when they get there, it just kind of stalls out and they go backwards again.
Yeah, well, it is the longest way around the track, but certainly there's a lot of factors aerodynamically, and you can see the gap. So there was a gap. The 2 just moved up. That's Seth Groover, who moved up to that third lane to fill in that gap that started. That now gives them 6 cars plus on that outside groove. They'll need all of that and more to get anything on these lower lines.
Yeah, and Seth Groover's no stranger to speedway racing. He's in the top 10 right now in the season standings, and he saw something in that third line that he liked and thought it might give him an advantage to gain a couple spots, and that's really what it's all about. You jump out into a different line to try to advance your position. And you may not be there for a long time. You may be there to kind of hitch a ride and then jump back in line to lock yourself in. Here we are with 4 laps to go, and still no clear favorite.
Well, and Seth Groover was involved in that earlier the early incident, and actually had gone, I think, a lap down, so he was able to get his lap back, and now he's sitting 7th.
We've got 20 cars on the lead lap, and really those are the only guys that have a chance at this point, especially if we stay green the rest of the way with coming up on 3 to go. But some of these same guys, you got Mark Mann, Logan Helton, Richard Sanchez, Sebastian Marin, James Mayer, J.D. Crow, James Mohan, Zachary Workman, Seth Grover, and Rick Seabrantz, all up there in the front. Every single one of those guys.
Wrecking. The 411, I think. Caution has not come out, but there was an incident on track with Tom Dixon and the 68 of Marco Berube, but they are back underway.
Yep, Bill Green. So those 2 guys are in the back, but
back up front. 3 laps to go. Coming down to take the across the line, it'll be 2 laps to go.
Yeah, that incident got Cody Niegels in the 6 car out of shape too.
All right, folks, 2 laps to go. There's no way to tell you who is going to win this race. It is 3 wide, 4 deep. It's anybody's race.
A lot more movement in these cars now. Everybody jockeying for position, looking to see if they can advance. Richard Sanchez was in the lead. Now that center line up.
Turned at the 63,
And
got
he
turned
spins the
by the
63
510.
of Logan Helton.
Caution. Caution is out.
Yeah, they don't have
Unfortunately.
a choice on that one. They've got to throw it. But yeah, you saw Richard Sanchez lose the lead. And then all of a sudden, I didn't see what happened, but he was into the back of Logan Helton, spun him, and then
Let's go back
changing
and
lanes and chaos began.
go back and see if we can see just what happened here again, although pretty good idea as to what happened.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, just unfortunately just a big push.
Yeah, hard to tell if he wanted to do that or just got a run all of a sudden.
Well, let's see what we can see. Maybe go to an in-car camera. Let's see if we can see the in-car. It's a he's in a Ford. Let's see if we can see a shot here.
Richard able to keep it together and stay up in that lead group, but poor Logan Helton, that just ruined his race right there.
Yep, so we are under caution, 3 laps to go, which means one thing, and that means we are going to go to a green-white checker. We talked about this before. Yep. I don't think we'll have too many takers onto pit road at this stage. The guys already topped off their fuel. We'll see a couple guys who may come in if they were close on fuel. That's why you're seeing those drivers down on that flat apron. Actually, we're seeing a good bit of guys who have gone down to pit road. Rick Sebring, Dean Wilkinson, Logan Helton, Tom Dixon. Logan, we expected. Sebastian Marin is on pit road as well.
Yeah, that puts those guys back, in the 15 to 20 spots. They're that's a shame. Those guys have been running up front all night, and then you get kind of sidelined there at the end. That's a tough break for them.
Well, we'll see how this forms back up. The 95 of James Mayer is currently showing out front. The 510 of Richard Sanchez, I believe, is showing in second.
That'll put Sanchez in that center lane. Although now he's out in front of the 95. I'm not sure why.
Well, we'll just see how it all plays out. Yep. Our initial scoring tower information comes back sometimes just with position. So we'll just we'll see how iRacing puts this back up. Richard Sanchez may just be our current leader, and he will be the control car.
Yep. Which also puts him on the, if this shakes out this way, that puts him on the inside line, which I think gives him an advantage going into these final 2 laps.
So with 3 laps to go, we're going to do a green-white checker. If you're not sure what that is going to be, they'll take the green flag, they'll come back and take the white flag, and they'll be a winner after that. So if you're curious about the fuel situation, most of these guys pitted on lap 59. I think Richard Sanchez was 59, James Mayer 57, JD Crow 63, and there are a number of guys who pitted on lap 59 and 63, some at 77. So it's really a mixed bag of fuels. My guess is if you're James Mayer in that 95, you're hoping you can stay out here and get over that finish line with the fumes you've got.
Yeah.
Now we have had at least one caution or two since lap 57, so. So the lights are off on the pace car, which means we are about to go back to green flag racing. My guess is that 95 will be in the outside.
Yep, looks like
line.
that. Yep, and iRacing standings have caught up now too. So Richard Sanchez is our leader. He'll be the control car.
Right, lights are out now. I'm not sure how many green-white checkers we've got, but hopefully all it takes is one. So if you're just tuning in, it's the very end. This is our 5th caution of the night. We're about to go back to a green-white checker restart. We've got those 3 laps to go. Richard Sanchez is currently our control car and our current leader. He will lead the 5 car of JD Crow on the low line. Outside of him, you've got the 95 of James Mayer and the 04 of Mark Mann behind him.
Pace car's down on the apron now. Letting these guys get all set up. They're getting tucked up good and tight and make their way to the Geico restart zone.
See, here we go. Entering the Geico restart zone now. Green flag, and Rick Sanchez jumps out to a great jump. That will soon disappear as the 5 catches right back up. 5 has got the 19 behind him of Zachary Workman.
Yeah, that 95 of James Mayer got a good push there to get him out in front. Now that line behind him is breaking up. He's going to have to get down in front of that low line, and he waited too long, I think. Still getting a good push from the 04.
He is. Middle Groove is trying to put something together. Once we cross the stripe back here, any incidents that occurred just doesn't matter. So
that second lane had a good run going, but the guys got eager a little too early, I think. Split up into three lines, and now everybody's jumping around. 95 got loose there. Must have got a little tap from behind.
This is the final lap. Final lap. You've got the 510 of Richard Sanchez, the 95 of James Mayer, and the 02 of Seth Groover. We've talked about Seth multiple times tonight, and he is actually out there making that third line move.
Whoa, the 510 dropped way back. 95's in the catbird seat right now because he can come down in front of that inside line as they start getting a run, which is about.
Yep. Oh, a little bit of contact, spinning.
There we go.
Oh,
no. Took out the leaders. No, man. Big pile up. That's the big one right there. Wow.
We're watching the 02 of Seth Groover. I think Seth Groover wins this race. Oh my gosh, what a mess.
Wow, I did not see that coming.
Let's back. That is a mess. That is a major carnage coming up to the start-finish line. We'll try to back this up and get a better vantage point. We may have to go all the way to the back of the field. Let's jump back to the 68 trucks view here. We'll see it first from his in-car. How about that? That should be an interesting view. This is how Marco Berube saw this mess in front of him.
Whoa, man. That is chaos.
Wow. Now it's a rush to get across the start-finish line. And as you can see, there's a lot of damaged race cars as they try to finish this race.
And that put our league director, Jimmy Crow, crossing the line in second position. So good for Jimmy being in the right place at the right time. You got
It
some
certainly
guys
is.
that managed to get through that mess and make their way to the podium.
All right, one more time at this so you can see it as it unfolded in front of you at the start-finish line. You know, this was the only time that being in that outside lane worked.
Yep, it paid off. And
It paid off.
I've been critical of it all night long, but paid off for those guys tonight. The funny thing there that I noticed that time that I didn't see the first time, but there was a light-colored car. I couldn't read the number, but he was coming from the back and he never lifted. He thought it's wreckers or checkers. I'm either going to go to the front or I'm going to go home on the flatbed.
Well, the results are in. Let's bring up the results of tonight's event. Seth Groover in the 02 is our winner. Jimmy Crow Jr. in the 39 is second. Zachary Workman is in third. Gabe Butler is in fourth. Eric Laurie is in fifth. Dean Wilkinson is in sixth. Sebastian Marin finishes in seventh. Todd Siebels in eighth. Richard Sanchez in ninth. And Logan Helton comes back to finish 10th.
Great job, guys. Edward Fielder in the 111 is in 11th. How about that? David Overstreet in 12th, followed by James Mohan, Mark Mann, Robert Rock in 15th. We've got James Mayer, J.D. Crow, Jerry Batto in 18th spot. In 19th, Cody Niegels, who had a great run here going in the first part of the race, first half at least. And then Rick Seabrens topping out that top 20.
Tom Dixon in 21st, Marco Berube in 22nd, Rick McKinney in 23rd, Gary Jenkins in 24th, James Peterson in 25th, Jimmy Crawford in 26th, Sean Stevens in 27th, Dale Wilby in 28th, Al Cena in 29th, Brian Rainville in 30th, Mike Grimkist in 31st, and Randy Miner finishes in 32nd.
Yeah, I feel bad for some of those guys to finish so many laps down, but sometimes that's the way it happens. If you're in, we had two cautions early on, lap 10 and lap 20, and when that happens, if you're in both of those, then your chances of finishing well go way, way down.
Let's see if we can bring in Mr. Zachary Workman here to the broadcast booth. Zachary, welcome to the booth. Congratulations on your P3 finish.
Yeah, I really don't know how we did that. We were just kind of riding in line, and the ocean opened up for us, and we just drove through. For a quick second, I thought I actually was going to win, and then I looked up high, and I saw Seth and Jimmy up there. I'm like, well, I'm going to take this P3 and go home, take my ball home.
Yeah, we were talking all night about how challenging that outside line was. It was hard to get a run, and there wasn't enough trucks up there to really pull it together. So we were kind of basically not knocking that outside line, but certainly it wasn't the fastest. But you know what? It wound up being the place to be at the checkered flag.
Yeah, it depends what kind of people you got in the certain lines. Like if you have a small amount of people up there, it might not go as quick. But if you have like the certain type of drivers up there, they can get it done with a shortened like only a couple people up there. But if you have a big pack, that outside is pretty fast. Usually, I like to take in the middle. I think middle is probably one of the best lines because kind of control both lanes. There I was kind of stuck on the bottom just following JD, and I was like, okay, take a top 10 and we'll take it from there. And they crashed in front. I'm like, oh, okay. Got a little luck on my side today. But yeah, it was just outside is pretty much kind of the place you want to be. I kind of like being in the middle. I think that's the best line personally. But yeah, it's either lines. It depends what kind of drivers you have behind us. I mean, most of these guys can handle outside line and things like
Oh
that.
yeah.
So
Yep.
Yeah, Zachary, the that third place finish tonight, since Seth and Jimmy finished in front of you, I think that's going to guarantee that you remain in the lead. And Gabe Butler finished right behind you on the track, and he was right behind you in the season standings as well. So you guys should remain 1 and 2 going into this next race at Daytona.
yeah, it's just kind of insane kind of luck this year. I mean, we won the opening race and just been pretty solid throughout the week. Gabe Butler is a credible driver. We run with a different league on Mondays. Well, we run together on Mondays. We're teammates, and then Sundays we're running against each other for a championship. So it's kind of like it's kind of weird the dynamic. Like Sundays we're kind of rivals. Monday we're like, oh, buddy, and blah blah. And now here we're racing against each other too. So, but Gabe's an incredible talent, and to be anywhere like near him or even in front of him is a great feat. So we'll see what we can do. We've had a great season so far, and hopefully we can continue it here.
Any shout outs tonight?
I got to thank my girlfriend for letting me do this. I race 3 to 4 nights a week, and she lets me get away with it, so I guess I'm pretty lucky.
You are.
Instacart for jumping on board. They do sponsor my podcast that I do, and then I put them on the truck. I got to thank my parents, family, and friends, and everyone who jumps in my streams and watches the broadcast. You guys do a great job, and been loving seeing the last 4 weeks that you guys have done SSK. So thank you guys for coming along.
Thank you. Well, we enjoy it. This has been a lot of fun for us as broadcasters, so we enjoy it tremendously. So congratulations on your P3 finish. That's third place. That's Zach Workman.
Great job by Zach tonight, getting up there, and when all those cars dumped out there at the end, it really jostled up that finishing order.
Did. All right, let's see if we can bring Jimmy Crow in. Jimmy finished P2. Jimmy, congratulations.
Hey, I finished the race.
You were in the right place at the right time for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. I was taped up there. I knew my buddy Seth had tape on. I couldn't really get behind somebody that didn't have the tape because I couldn't push for very long at all with that 50 tape on. But yeah, I got lucky tonight.
Well, sometimes lucky is better than good sometimes, especially with that big incident at the very end there that took out a good bit of the field. But the high line was where to be at the finish for sure.
Yeah, definitely. We were safe.
That was what was amazing to me, Jimmy, because it seemed like that outside line would falter quite a bit. It would get a run and then just stall out and go backwards, and people wouldn't commit to it for very long. So you might have 6 trucks up there, and then all of a sudden you've got 2 or 3, and yet it paid off for you and Seth in the end.
Yeah, we just got lucky. I wasn't about to try and pass him or nothing like that. I just wanted a clean finish. I'm glad he won. We had a pretty decent race tonight, and I hope the guys had fun. And if they had bad luck, all I can do is apologize.
I'm sure it'll all work out. All right, well, that's your P2 finish. Jimmy, any shout-outs you'd like to make here?
Yeah, I want to thank Gabe and all the boys, JD, Richard, Dale was running with us, Gary, Eric. Appreciate them. Appreciate Gabe mentoring me. And thank you to all the sponsors, and thank y'all for a great broadcast every Tuesday night.
Oh, you got it. Absolutely. We're going to bring Jimmy, stay with us. We're going to bring Seth in the booth, and we can talk to him about his finish there. So, Seth, welcome to the broadcast booth. You've got myself, Rick, and Jeff Needy, as well as Jimmy's here with us. Congratulations on your finish.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. That was a lot of fun. Man, what a great race.
We were, and when you go back and listen to the broadcast, we were marveling. I know you caught up in that earlier incident, but man, you came back at the right time. You worked your way back up to the front for sure.
Yeah, I got extremely lucky with some cautions. I was about to be 3 laps down, but the cautions went my way, and then I had to fight my way to the lead of the race, and then a caution came out, and then another lucky dog. Yeah, man, it was up and down. Holy cow! I thought my race was over on lap 10.
Yeah, you were caught up in that earlier incident, our first incident of the night. But no, we kept watching you kind of inch your way back and work your way back up and get that lucky dog repeatedly. So yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. What a race, man. That's probably the most fun I've had on a super speedway race in quite some time. Not just because I won, but because it was like so much pressure to get back to the front and get that lucky dog. Oh my gosh, yeah. And man, it was 3 wide the whole time, 4 wide sometimes. Man, that was awesome, Jimmy. That was great.
It was a great race, Seth. You did a good job. We were watching you as you'd make your way back up. As Rick said, that you got involved in that incident on lap 10. That set you back. But boy, I'll tell you, it was a perfect example of never give up. You could have said, "Hey, my race is over. I'm just going to ride around at the back," but you didn't. You kept at it, and boy, it paid off big in the end for you.
Yeah, I was about to. I mean, I was about to give up. I was towing. I was 2 minutes of towing. They were going green, and I was 2 laps down, about to be 3, and I was like, "Oh my God, I have to get a caution here," and it came out, and then I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be a tough battle," but and I definitely didn't expect to win this race. I can't believe that. That just makes it so much better. But yeah, that was a great race, and thank you, Jimmy, for pushing me there. You could have tried to pass me for that win, but you you pushed me, which is awesome.
Well, you jumped 4 spots last week in the standings, and I think this win tonight's going to give you another good bump. I think that Zach Workman and Gabe Butler are probably going to stay up there 1 and 2, but when we see how the points shake out tonight, I think you're going to take another nice jump.
Yeah, I've been racing with Jimmy for a few years now, and out of all the leagues that I've done, I've never won a race, and it surprises me. And then the last week I got 2 wins in a second. I don't know
Oh,
what's
wow.
happening here, so we'll try to keep the run going.
Well, congratulations. Any shout outs you'd like to make tonight?
Yeah, shout out to my parents and Patrick. I wonder if he was watching. I'm sure he was. But yeah, they love watching. I send them the link every time, and hopefully they're commenting, giving you guys a thumbs up. And a like there.
They absolutely did, and we appreciate them commenting and staying in and watching it. Absolutely, thanks to your parents for sure.
Oh yeah, and then thank you, Jimmy, for putting it on, man. This is some of the best, most fun. I look forward to Tuesday night every week, so that's awesome, Jimmy. Thank you.
I appreciate you racing, buddy. We've been racing. Matter of fact, we've been racing together 5 years now, and tonight's my dad's birthday. Seth done a lot of racing with my dad also, and he'd be
Yeah.
proud to see Seth win. And you've
Yeah.
always been loyal to me, buddy. Always had my back, and I appreciate you for that.
Thank you, Jamie. Happy birthday to your dad, man.
All right, that's your winner, Seth Groover, of our 5th race of the season here at Talladega. Jimmy, tell us about next week.
Next week we'll be at Daytona. Should be fun. Probably be a little warmer track because we're not going to do every Daytona race at night. So we'll be in the afternoon. Should be interesting. Hope it's a good show for y'all.
I'm sure it will be. All right, folks, thank you for tuning in tonight to the Super Speedway Kings at Talladega. Saw a great finish with Seth Groover winning tonight. Jeff, any parting words tonight?
Yeah, I think it was just this race tonight didn't go the way I expected it to go. I thought we'd have a really clean race up until the end. The end did not disappoint those that wanted to see some action because there was plenty of it. But I think the real message of the race, the big story, is not giving up. Seth Groover made some great decisions along the way. Plus, had a little bit of luck on his side, and you really need both in these super speedways. You got to make good decisions, and you need a little bit of luck and a little bit of help, and he got that all tonight, and it paid off for him big.
All right. Well, thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate you Joining us here on the IWM Broadcast Network of the Super Speedway Kings. If you can, like and follow whichever social media platform that you're watching us on, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and we hope to see you next week as we come back to the Super Speedway Kings on Tuesday night, this time at Daytona. Thanks again.